boy Hasan Piker is back in the news. The dude can't stop getting himself in trouble, can't stop becoming the center of drama 24/7. He's always going crazy. I don't know how many times I have to make this intro because the dude just consistently stays in drama, and he always brings it upon himself. Whether he's misrepresenting things, whether he's just outright supporting things that are just really not that cool. The dude loves to just bring himself to the center of attention, and his audience loves to come in and play ball for him, if you know what I mean. But anyways, guys, we're gonna get into this short little clip that I think highlights what we're gonna be talking about here, and then we got a little bit longer video.
But apparently, this is what's crazy. So Hasan, remember how he said he got questioned? It looks like they might be pulling the tapes.
Streamer with more
I hope they pull the tapes on this. I 100% hope they pull the tapes on this, because of the fact that if Hasan was actually detained, it was like super serious. He had like some sweaty dude standing over him with a cigarette in his mouth. They were like tapping like paperwork in front of him like it's a bad TV drama. I want to see that, and I'll say, yo, that's a little cringe. That's a little weird. You know what I mean? I don't know, bro. I don't know. I will say that stuff because I'm not out here just trying to witch hunt the guy. I'm going to call the guy out when he deserves to be called out. And the rest of the time, I'm just going to talk about how I don't like him. And then if he gets a W, I will say he gets a W. I mean, heck, even when he had that cringe Lord iDubbbz on his stream, and he made the joke about iDubbbz' dance, I said it was kind of funny. I'll give the guy W's when he deserves them. But if the tapes come out and he looks like a whiny little girl, which I think is what's going to happen, I'm gonna call him a whiny little girl who blew this into the mass drama that it never needed to be, because he needs to be the center of attention.
2 million followers says he was detained and questioned at O'Hare Airport for more than 2 hours.
This all happened as he was headed here to speak at the University of Chicago, and now federal workers are pushing back.
Yeah, that prominent Twitch streamer, Hasan Piker, he said that he was pulled over and questioned for hours right here at O'Hare Airport because of his political beliefs and his criticism of the current administration. We are asking...
Which just is so wild. That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, if they would have pulled him over and asked him the things, like some of the stuff that he said on stream, or maybe like if they would have asked him his views on some of these groups that are designated as terror groups by the US government, I can understand that, because that then it shows a pattern of him supporting groups that have been designated as bad, and that can be unsettling for a TSA and deserves some questions, especially when you're coming back into the country. Understandable. Now, was he detained? No, I think he even said that when he asked if he was free to go, he was free to go. So he could have asked like way earlier, if we're going by his 2-hour like viewpoint. But come on, dude, this is just such a blown out of proportion thing. He's so wild, dude.
Asking for video of that incident, so it's hard.
Bro,
an agent came out and took me into the interrogation room. They started asking me about crazy, like, do you like Donald Trump?
That's American-born Twitch streamer and left-wing political commentator Hasan Piker recounting a 2-hour encounter with federal agents after he arrived in Chicago from a family vacation in Paris.
Everything I've done is fully protected under the First Amendment.
Well, isn't that like, I don't even know why you would...
by the way, so I have covered this in the past. I have had to deal with this Hasan drama way more than I want to, but the streets are dry, my boys. The streets are dry. Hasan is the only guy that consistently puts himself in the crosshairs of being stupid 24/7, and it's always hilarious because then he blows that smoke up his fans' ass, so they never shoot it. They never have solid poops anymore. It's straight diarrhea in the toilet. It looks like a depressing Rorschach painting every time they get up after they wipe. But here's the thing, boys and girls. Here's the thing. Every time this dude talks, you can tell that like an 80% of it's gonna be a lie. I don't know why he does this. I really don't. I don't know why he needs to make a giant spectacle out of everything.
Would say this, like, you didn't go to jail, you didn't get arrested.
And on top of this, what I was gonna say, and I got distracted by my stupidity, one other thing I wanted to add real quick was the fact that some of his stuff, like showing terrorist propaganda, isn't covered under free speech. Now, do I agree with that in my personal beliefs? I don't know. I don't know. That one's tough. It's one of those laws that is providing support to it's like providing support to terror groups is not protected under material support to terror groups is not protected under the First Amendment. He has been in contact with Houthi members, so like it's one of those things that I just Houthi and Hamas members. I mean, he talked about that. He talked about it one time how he was like friends with that Hamas sniper or whatever. But it's one of those things that it's like he has been in contact with these people. He has claimed it. He's put it on his show. He's interviewed them. Again, I think he has the right to interview these people. think he has the right to do this. I don't know where that line crossed, but to act like he hasn't towed that line before by showing like Hamas propaganda videos on his stream. I know it violates TOS, but I don't know if it violates US law. But again, there is limits to the First Amendment. I don't think there should be. But it's one of those gray areas, I guess.
The fact that you're sitting there right now prove that. They do it randomly at times. Well, here's the thing. Out of the last 5 times I've flown on an airplane, 2 or 3 times I've been randomly selected for additional, like, vetting. Am I getting racially profiled as, like, a drug dealer or something?
I mean, this happened to me. This happened to me when I was going to Kuwait. I 100% was about to get on the plane. They pull me aside, and they said, we need to ask you some questions. We need to do some, we need to, like, check why you're going here. What are you doing? What's your plan? Let's see your passport. Buddy had a weird PlayStation tattoo on his wrist. Now, I personally would never get a company's brand logos on my body. I think that's mad cringe. But, like, if you really like something, whatever. I gave the guy props. I'm like, oh, PlayStation fan, dude. And he was like, yeah, big God of War guy right here. I'm like, cool, dude. I play PlayStation 2. I got Xbox and PlayStation. I would just play God of War. And we talked about God of War for a second. My wife looked at me like she was going to kill me if we missed that flight. So I said, am I good to go? He said, you're good to go. And I got on the plane. It was honestly a decent interaction, and from what Hasan said is he had a pretty cordial interaction with these guys as well. So from what it sounds like to me is it's exactly what I had to do. It doesn't sound like I think he saw this as an opportunity to blow this up as a drama. For one, to get some news coverage, because he knew that he could get MSNBC to hold water for him, he could get ABS or whatever to hold water for him, he could get a bunch of these outlets to just go off of his claims, do the little to no reporting because they knew they'd get clicks on it, right? And it worked out in his favor, and he also could use it as a weapon to talk more about how Ethan Klein and Asmongold, by talking crap, are actually putting him in the crosshairs. It's such the most skeevy, manipulative shit.
I mean,
none of these questions are actually valid questions to ask.
A Homeland Security official acknowledged the incident, telling us, quote, "This is nothing but lying for likes."
Bro, just straight roasted his ass, bro. And you know what's funny? Other than this Asmongold video right here, right? I hadn't seen this news report. All I've seen was a bunch of outlets running what Hasan Piker had said, running the fact that he was this political prisoner, which is just egregious and absolutely fucking retarded. It was the gayest shit I'd heard all week. And then I saw this, and I was like, holy shit! Why the fuck aren't more people talking about the fact that he lied?
Claims that his political beliefs triggered the inspection are baseless. Our officers are following the law, not agendas.
And this is from the Department of Homeland Security. Let's see the tapes. Straight up, like,
Absolutely, I want to see the tapes as well. I really want to see the tapes, because if I'm wrong, I'll say I was fucking wrong. If they're sitting there, sweaty guy standing over his shoulder, dripping sweat into Hasan's mouth while smoking a cigarette, banging his finger on a file saying, "Did you say this about President Trump? Did you, Hamas Piker? Did you?" And like ashing cigarettes out on his neckline. Like, absolutely, I want to see those tapes, baby. I want to know what happened for sure, and I feel like that's a fair thing. Now, Hasan has said in a different, I saw a clip of him today saying that he wants those tapes to be released too. I hope that he's not 100% lying about this shit. If there is some where they're asking him about maybe asking him about like Hamas or stuff like that, where he can get his audience to kind of rally behind him, like those are egregious questions when they're not actually that egregious, and then he can say, look, it made me look good. Yeah, I exaggerated a little bit, but still, those are weird questions, right, guys? I think it would be a win for his audience, because his audience honestly he can manipulate them to literally stick their fingers in their own eyeballs, pop their eyeballs, lick them, and stick them back in. That's how dumb his audience is.
really think that if he made this up, it will be worse than the debate.
Questions about what my opinions were on Donald Trump. I told him I don't like Donald Trump. After that, he asked me about my opinion on Israel.
And by the way, again, it was moments after he gets questioned at the airport. He is on every show. He's in every and this is what I have a problem with a lot of the like news outlets and stuff, is it doesn't seem like a lot of actual reporting's going on, and it's just a lot of taking their friend's word, which I think is kind of gross.
And my opinion on what's going on in Gaza.
I mean, that's insane. I can't
like the fact that all these fucking idiots are running this shit and none of them reached out to the airport. None of them reached out. It's just like, oh, well, Hasan said he's known to be a reliable source always. When the dude fucking lies his fucking taint off every 2 seconds, bro. He lies off of his taint so much that it just became an elongated butthole.
imagine having to answer questions like that.
Might want to start damage control earlier versus later. Would be wild if you flat up made some shit out. Yeah, can't wait. Oh my god. We're gonna get to the truth of this.
Dude, and honestly, there's been some crazy stuff coming out about it. Now, this is from Straight. I think he covers a little bit more of this stuff. There is a lot of issues with his story and everything that's going on. The timeline doesn't make sense. Everything about it has seemed sus from the beginning. And again, I think Hasan's always been an opportunist. Since the beginning of his career, he's a Nepo baby. His uncle runs a giant, or at the time, it's kind of been dwindling, a giant media conglomerate. He has been privileged to the fucking T since he arrived on the scene. Bro was telling people how to pick up girls, like Andrew Tate back in the day. So he's been around. He's had people like just shoving him into the spotlight. He's an opportunist, and he saw this as a way to rally people behind him.
Listen, the reason why...
By the way, this video is Hasan lied about being detained by Customs Border Patrol. This is by Straight, the talking
I
fish.
don't want to talk to Hasan is he lies. You just lie. That's the problem.
Well, boys, today is tomorrow when Hasanabi, Hasan Piker, is back in the news because everyone's starting to poke holes in his little, I was detained at the border and I was basically a political prisoner. Actually, the person knew who I was, and thank God he was an ally, and he knew the most about me. It was almost like the guy was a fan.
Bro, it was so funny. It was so funny about this whole interaction. Like, when he starts talking about it, he's like, well, the dude was Arab, so he, like, understood the pain I was going through not trying. It was like virtue signaling, bro. He was like, the Latina girl pulled me aside. It was like, it's all progressive fucking virtue signaling while he's also playing the victim, which, oh, God, it's just, I fucking hate it. I hate this type of rhetoric where it's just like, it's like virtue signal, victim, virtue signal, victim, bullshit. It's bullshit, bro.
And then he just let me go and he said, actually, Hasan, keep up the great work. I love your That's basically what Hasan said his detainment was whenever he was coming back from Paris. And obviously, with such a wild story, with such wild claims that you were specifically targeted in an airport in Chicago?
What's happening in Chicago? What the f was that?
Illinois is one of the most blue states in America, so that already made this whole entire thing really weird. To be detained by Customs and Border Patrol to go over your views of the president? So, yes, Hasan's story of him being detained by Customs and Border Patrol was so wild and all over the place, going from him saying he was a stubborn piece of shit during this detainment, even though he admitted to lying about what his thoughts on Hamas were, and giving vague answers on...
Was it a surprise that Hasan Biker lies? That's like half of his fucking speaking ability. He wakes up in the morning, he gets the cum out of his eyeballs, he wipes it away, he goes and checks his fit in the mirror, tells himself how sexy he is, and says, I'm gonna lie to some retards today, boys. These gay idiots will believe anything I say.
On his thoughts of, Donald Trump as the president, this man was contradicting himself in his own story that he was making up. So obviously, everyone started to, look around, comb through it with a fine-tooth comb. We're like, this story's looking a little weak. All right, it's a little shaky. It's like, really, you got detained because they knew Hasan Piker, this specific man, was coming to their airport? You're telling me someone was going through the hundreds of thousands of other passengers and saw Hasan Piker? Okay, then. And they were like, yep.
But here's the thing, too. I could see them stopping him for some of his rhetoric. It's not out of this world to think that. Again, I've already stated it in this. He has put Hamas propaganda on his platform. He has done shit like that. So it's not out of this world to think something like that would happen. Now, do I think it's right? No. But I also think that motherfucking airport be stopping everybody, bro. The random checks be hitting everybody. Again, they stopped me. PlayStation tattoo. We talked about it.
That has to be that one specific Hasan Piker. Okay, then Hasan. And even on his Pod Save America episode, he was already downplaying the whole thing. He was like, hold on, wait a minute. I may have exaggerated a little bit. Hold on, wait a minute. I wasn't a political prisoner now. Like, he had to downplay the whole entire thing because he overblew whatever story he made up, and he realized,
dude, absolutely. He overblew it. And all of these media outlets that already don't like the current administration, which I don't give a shit what you think about the current administration. I don't know. I don't want you to care about what I think about it. I don't like the politics side of this, but he knew that he could get a bunch of these outlets that already don't like the current administration to rally up behind him, which then turns him into a rallying point. It's so fucking blatantly obvious what he's trying to do. Realized he went a little too far, and he was like, oh fuck, maybe I need to backpedal.
It's gonna look bad whenever everyone realizes it was not what I made it seem to be.
Here, what's up?
What's going on, John? Things are not looking too hot right now. How about on your end?
You were briefly a political prisoner?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I was briefly detained by the regime for being a political
Jesus Christ, the fucking rhetoric, bro. The fucking regime is coming after me. The ultimate fascists. Today on WWE Raw, we have Hummus Pickles versus the ultimate regime.
dissident.
So yeah, he had to walk all that back. He was like, all right, I wasn't a prisoner, but well, I had different political beliefs than the regime. So obviously they went after me specifically, the man of a multi-billionaire father. Hasan, again, you weren't being detained.
I don't know for a fact that his dad is a multi-billionaire. I absolutely don't. There is no way I know that. I've looked into it. I get contradictory sources. I'm not going to run with his dad's a multi-billionaire story. I'm never going to do that. I don't have anything to prove it. If you have some information for me and you want to tell me, hey man, his dad was really a multi-billionaire, here's some reliable sources you can trust and check into, definitely let me know. But from what I have found little to no evidence other than other YouTubers saying that his dad was a multi-billionaire. What I do know is he is still a child of nepotism, in the fact that his uncle was sitting there starting one of the biggest YouTube news shows. He was probably the biggest left-wing news show for a very long time on YouTube. He was YouTube supported. I think he was even part of like YouTube's little Netflix run for a while there. He was a big deal, and he used to have Hasan on his show to be like the pickup guy. How to pick up chicks. How to pick up chicks is the cool leftist. He used to glaze Elon Musk's cock every 2 seconds he got, back when the left wing used to like Elon Musk. And then he started seeing this Destiny guy who was doing video games, reaching an audience. He said, I can do that, but I don't think I think Destiny's like a weirdo and a racist or whatever. And they had like a split. It was a whole fucking thing. I don't know all the ins and outs of the two dipshits yelling at each other for eternity, which Hasan and Destiny are. They're both dipshits and they consistently spurg out on each other. I just know that there was a breakup there, and he got thrust into popularity because of it. So the dude has had it set out for him in the spotlight since the very beginning. I do know that, but I do not know that if his dad's a billionaire.
After me specifically, the man of a multi-billionaire father. Hasan, again, you weren't being detained, brother. You could have walked out at any time and you would have been fine. You could have been like, I'm hijacking the plane, and your dad probably would have just bought the plane company. Let's all be honest here.
And another thing that I want to point out here, and again, I don't know about the billionaire dad. I don't think that's true. Other thing I want to point out here that's so fucking funny to me is Hasan, in his own words, at the end of the interview said, am I free to go? And they said yes, and he was free to fucking leave. He could have said it way earlier, but in his words, he wanted to see how far he could take this. He wanted to see how big, how the sweaty cigarette guy could lean over his shoulder and whisper dirty nothings into his ear. It was all bullshit from the beginning. There's so many like random tangents in this shit that don't make sense, that make me think that this was all not a full hoax, but a partial hoax. If you're gonna call it anything, it's partially a hoax.
Hasan was never in danger. This man sounds like a damn teenage girl talking about how some guy had some crush on her, whenever in reality the guy was just like, I guess you're kind of cute. Want to go out? And she said, no, actually, you're disgusting and filthy. And the guy's like, all right. Like, he's telling a completely different story than what happened. So obviously, the Joker to Hasan's Batman had to come through and mess this man's whole.
What did I say, dude? Who knew that old Destiny was gonna show up? Because Destiny always shows up, just like Hasan always shows up for Destiny. These two guys need to just stop getting mad at each other and make out. We know they want to. We know those two idiots want to make out with each other, but we know that this is Destiny. I do have to say the pettiness between these two makes for great content for me.
Entire, little timeline up. He had a whole little media circus he wanted to go down, and obviously Destiny had to come through and break down. Actually, Hasan, this is kind of looking a little shaky. I don't know if your story was actually accurate to reality.
Let me present this coherently from start to finish. Somebody said, was it questioning 2 hours or everything, including standing in line at security? So Hasan's flight landed, and then the doors opened at 4:22 Eastern time. At 4:22, the doors to his plane opened. From there, he has to leave the plane. He has to walk through to get to immigration. He had to check at the global entry thing and then get pulled aside for additional questioning. So he got pulled aside for additional questioning, did the questioning, and then he was out. And then he tweeted at 5:30, it's okay, I'm out. So from the doors of his plane opening to him tweeting, it's okay, I'm out, was an hour and 8 minutes. So realistically, he was probably pulled aside and questioned, like from waiting in the room to talking to the guy and everything, was probably 30 minutes.
Bro, 30 minutes? Are you kidding me? Like that's so egregious. I mean, even the fact that he doubled the time is egregious. That's so retarded. Again, I think what this is kind of what happened with me, where they pulled me aside, asked me a couple questions, said gave me a nice little pat on the ass and said, go on your way, buddy. I think that's kind of what happened. Dude, this dude fucking will blow anything out of proportion, and he knows that his cult fan base will eat it up. Like they're just waiting to get that Hasan seed, bro. They're begging for it, dog. Yeah, but you guys are gonna have to wait. iDubbbz has already got that dick, bro. iDubbbz has already got that dick, and Anise is in the corner stroking.
Hasan, and obviously
Aside and questioned, like from waiting in the room to talking to the guy and everything, was probably 30 minutes tops.
So yeah, the timeline was already messed up by Hasan, and obviously after everyone realized this man never said he had to reschedule a flight, seeing that they don't just wait for you. So this man not only got off his flight, he got quote-unquote detained, and then he was able to just get onto his next flight out, no problem at all, like no rescheduling. Like, brother, what are you lying for?
By the way, what he's kind of missing here is I did see somebody break down the two tweets there. He talked about getting detained. He added this other guy. This other guy starts going absolutely banana, crazy mode. He's shoving those bananas straight up his ass and pulling them out of his mouth like an elongated butt. What are those called? Butt chain? Butt super fucking ticklers. He's taking his butt super tickler and pulling it out of his mouth, and he's like screeching on Twitter about trying to get like immigration lawyers and shit. And within that 30 minutes, Hasan's like, yo, bro, I'm out, bro. You can calm down now. It's gonna be okay. Daddy Hasan's coming home. He's gonna give you a nice penis tickle. It's gonna be all right, pal.
So obviously, even some of Hasan's own viewers started calling him out for this absolutely blatant lie. Let's all call it what it is. It is a blatant lie that he was telling right here. And his viewers started calling him out like, brother, you're harming the cause of freeing Palestine by just lying to healthily enrich yourself by getting on these other big outlets and doing a whole little media circuit.
And if you criticize that, or any aspect of Trump's foreign policy, you might have some trouble next time you're at the airport.
Popular left-wing Twitch streamer...
This is so gross. This is so gross. This is the type of shit I hate. This is that fear-mongering rhetoric. Now, I know that people are going to say the right does it too. I hate when the right does it. I hate when the left fear-mongers. I hate fear-mongering. I think it's fucking retarded. And it's always led by people like him or fucking Nick Fuentes telling everybody that if you have right-wing views, they'll kick you out of all the banks. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. You literally espouse Nazi shit. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Not everybody's like you. And this is the same with Hasan, dude. You can't, like, this dude constantly is just talking out of pocket and wondering why shit's happening to him, and it's crazy that the fucking mainstream media holds water for this dipshit.
And YouTuber Hasan Piker says he was detained at a U.S. airport for hours this weekend and questioned by U.S. Customs and Border Protection about his political beliefs, specifically on Gaza and President Trump.
The Customs and Border Patrol agent at the gate told me to step aside and that another agent would be coming over to take me to a separate location. We arrived at questions about what my opinions were on Donald Trump. I told him I don't like Donald Trump. And after that, he asked me about my opinion on Israel and my opinion on what's going on in Gaza.
An agent came out and took me into the interrogation room, and they started asking me about crazy, like, do you like Donald Trump?
That's American-born Twitch streamer and left-wing political commentator Hasan Piker.
And of course, with Hasan Piker, he could not take that, all right? He couldn't take the truth, all right? He couldn't take the reality. He had to make sure all of his fans know to dogpile on that one viewer that was right. You're hurting your own cause by lying, but obviously he doesn't care, because obviously hurting his own cause.
But and he likes to lie. He lies 24/7. That's just what he fucking does. And anybody who's like, who's actually a fan of somebody like this and they can't see through their fucking lies, I'm sorry, bro. You need to get out of your echo chamber. Maybe listen to somebody on the other side of the aisle for a little while. Go back and forth. Kind of check their sources. Don't follow one source. Like even if you like see a story, right? You see even me. You hear like me talk about something and you're like, I don't know if that's true. Go check somebody else. Always check multiple sources and make sure those sources sit from different sides of the issue than the first source. Try to figure that shit out for yourself. Do a little legwork. Don't just be a little gerbil waiting for your next fucking feeding tube to shove up your ass.
Doesn't mean that's hurting his wallet. All right, if anything, that brings more money to him and more attention. So if anything, he would rather stab the damn cause in the back if that meant CNN, MSNBC. Oh, is that Fox? Oh, Fox. Yes, Fox. Yes. Hold up, Fox. Let me put on some good clothes. Like this man will instantly stab his own cause in the back, and that means he gets more attention.
I'm sad about the damage you've done to your cause, Palestine's cause, by your lies about your detention at the airport. Dude, a denial of reality is so fucking funny in this circumstance because like the Department of Homeland Security came out and admitted that it took place, and these motherfuckers still are like, nah.
No, they said they pulled you aside, and then when they were asked about it, they said you were fucking lying for clicks. You got blasted, and that's what's so important to why I showed that first clip, why I started with the little Asmongold section, because the motherfucker lied for clicks. What else are you gonna say, dude? And until we have that fucking footage, I'm not gonna believe a fucking word out of this guy's mouth because he lies like it's his fucking job because that is his job.
They're just lying about that too. Everyone's lying except
I love when he gets caught on something. Like, could you actually believe that?
Who's not lying? My favorite content creator.
We're exploring legal action.
Also, why the fuck would I guide you away from being anti-genocide? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck kind of... I could be the most...
Dude, and I thought... Here's another thing that Hasan, that I think is so funny. He levied this to, like, go after slop tubers, right? He's like, why slop tubers are so dangerous by criticizing me, and made it all about this thing. Like, you criticize him, you're criticizing the cause, you're putting him in harm's way, when all he does is slop tube type shit. You know what he's reacting to right here? The Noah Samson versus Ethan Klein drama video that Noah Samson did. This is saving Gaza, guys. Holy shit. The Noah Samson Ethan Klein drama. We need to cover that, or the Palestinians will be in trouble if I don't watch this on stream right now. What the fuck? Dude, the dude's a fucking drama YouTuber at this point. Get the fuck out of here, dog.
Repulsive person on the planet that still shouldn't change your opinion on what Israel's doing. Are you that much of a fucking spineless individual? No moral compass whatsoever?
This is the guy that said mass rapes didn't happen by Hamas, even though everyone else that could do research were able to show him sources, but without the video proof of someone getting raped.
Bruh, Pixar didn't happen, Piker, baby. You read through that UN report, it's the most disgusting fucking thing you've ever read. And this is something I've said from the beginning of all this. I feel atrocious for what's happening to the Palestinians. I absolutely do. I think what's happened to them is disgusting. Does that mean that I can go through the UN report and ignore anything that is horrible just because Hamas happens to be on the side that I want them to be on? Absolutely fucking not. Two wrongs do not make a right. I am never going to support a group that fucking attacks civilians. That's why I have constantly said I don't support Israel, right? I don't think the U.S. should be supporting supporting Israel as much as they do. I don't think that they should be supporting Hamas. I think they should just dipski the fuck out of there and say, listen, handle your shit yourself, you guys. Talk to some of these other Arab countries, see what their thoughts on the matter is, which I would like more of them to handle this shit than us to handle it. I really think that's the best course of action. Now, people might disagree with me on that, but I just don't think that it is good from the standpoint of helping a side that is going to target civilians. I think they're both fucking disgusting in that regard. Again, I don't have all the ins and outs. I'm just a drama guy. I'm a video game guy and a drama guy. I don't fucking know all the ins and outs of this political bullshit. I just know enough about this to get by and to not look like an asshole, which is way more than fucking Hasan does.
Hamas Piker didn't care.
Downplaying the violence, specifically the sexual violence, which he's done a lot of.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me even this much.
It should. It should. I'm sorry. It should. It definitely does for me. It definitely did for me. It definitely 100% made me look at this, look at these groups as what they are, terrorist groups, right? And before I was looking at Israel as not a fucking cash money government to begin with, and then I was like, holy shit. Then you have like, oh well, because of what happened, we can do this too. No, you can't just like kill kids and rape women because, oh well, Israel's bad, so it's okay if it's happening to them. No, fuck you. That's disgusting. How can you pretend like that's a good thing? Like, both sides are disgusting at this point. Fuck them.
So that's the other part of this.
Fuck everybody except for the civilians. I want that to be 100% clear. I feel like they're caught up in this fucking endless blood holy war bullshit, and a lot of them just want to live their lives and not be in poverty and not be running to bomb shelters all the time. That's the shit that sucks.
This problem that many people can't contend with, like, the Palestinian resistance is not perfect. They're not like so good. They have magical bullets.
I mean, like,
well, and the sad thing too is the Palestinians used to have a resistance, like not a resistance, but like a actual military force, and Hamas fucking like hostily took over that bitch, and they had a much different outlook where the other group was wanting to attack like critical military zones, and Hamas is like, we're just going we're going like fucking banana modes. We're going absolutely insano mode. And that's where I don't like that group.
Whenever Ethan Klein tried to show him proof that did happen and there was a woman that was testifying about it, he decided, instead of listening to the victim, he decided, nah, I kind of want to speak over this person. I don't want to hear their testimony at all. I don't believe it at all. Even whenever they're testifying in front of the government. But for some reason, we're supposed to believe Hasan Piker, and we're supposed to 100% believe his story was 100% accurate. Nothing was exaggerated at all. He wasn't doing anything for content, even though he's a content creator, and him exaggerating his story would only help him whenever it comes down to gaining, attention and more money. Unlike a victim that just wants justice.
You listen to her.
Cry
Ethan,
or to be
you
sad.
listen to her words.
I had no one to comfort me and was forced to act nice
Listen to
the person who
my
had just
words.
said.
What did Hezbollah do? Bro, what did Hamas do? What are you talking about? Listen to my words. And has reasonable grounds to believe that this violence may be ongoing. It is first-hand accounts. Okay. Basically, can we read the first-hand accounts? No, they're not. They don't have first-hand accounts. Is this enough? No. Listen to my words. My analysis, even if there was multiple that
Dude, this is the problem. This is the problem. A lot of these guys are willing to omit facts to support their side, which makes them disgusting propagandists. I'm fucking sorry, and I know that both sides do this. I'm not fucking retarded. Like, a lot of people will want to believe, oh well, you're just this side. I want to put you in this little fucking box. This is the problem when you start omitting facts from shit. Like, even in this video, I made sure to stand on the hill that I don't know if Hasan's dad's a billionaire, and I cannot find actual proof to push that. I have zero proof that I can push that is substantial. So why would I push that? I think that you should look into shit from both sides, be willing to read something that you might disagree with, and still say, oh, well, this is the facts of the matter. I still stand by this cause, but I'm going to tell you the truth of what happens. That's what should be the hill. But he knows that he will lose support by doing stuff like that, so he omits it and pretends like if you bring it up, you're crazy, you're unhinged, you're a slop tuber, all of this other shit. He doesn't actually have any valid arguments for it, so he fucking shifts the goalposts, he gaslights. It's bullshit.
Place on October 7. This does not change anything for me. Listen to my words.
Hamas has committed horrific acts of sexual violence. And
listen to my words.
Women and girls, men and boys slaughtered after enduring violence.
the deadliest day for the Jewish people.
Listen to my words.
Women were horribly raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel has a...
Listen to my words. The systematized mass that Hamas dealt on October 7, not a single bit of that has been verified.
But yet, for some reason, this is the guy saying...
Read the UN report. I don't like I read it. It was awful. I don't ever want to read that shit again. I got like partially through it. I can't, dude. I can't. It's fucking depressing. I want to have fun and make fun of retards on the internet. I don't want to be reading horrific shit like that all day. I'm not a news guy. But this motherfucker like omits all the other stuff because it's well, it's circumstantial evidence. All evidence when it comes to a rape trial is circumstantial evidence. All of it. Every single thing. Even DNA evidence for those trials is circumstantial. It is such a retarded fucking thing to say, and for some reason his audience eats it up and acts like it's a hard-hitting fact. Everything about it is circumstantial. Even when the DNA evidence comes out, you still have 2 points of view where one of them might say, hey, I thought it, to me, she said it was consensual. Another person might, or he said it was consensual. Another, she or he said, well, no, it wasn't consensual. Then that evidence then becomes circumstantial because you have two different witness reports. It's always circumstantial. And to act like it's not, this is why he's so disingenuous and so disgusting. It's such a little fucking cum goblin, bro. It's so ridiculous.
That the viewer calling him out for potentially lying to gain more attention for his streams is the person with spineless morals.
Are you that much of a fucking spineless individual? No moral compass whatsoever?
I don't know. Someone's saying that has a pretty good moral compass, in my opinion, and 99% of the population's opinions. You can say someone that is pretty terrible for your cause probably shouldn't have a voice in your cause. I don't care how big they are. I'm just saying here, if it came out the next day saying
and another thing that's really sucks is I feel like supporting groups like Hamas and the Houthis hurts the Palestinian cause. I really do, and that's why I'm so against it, because I don't think a lot of these like hyper extremist left-wing people think that it's like, oh, we need to support them because like how important this shit's going on with Palestine. By doing that, all you're doing is, one, silencing the Palestinian voices that are against it, the people who have protested Hamas, the people who have been killed for protesting Hamas, the Palestinians who died for that. You're belittling them and their movement. You're also all the people that are against their cause are just going to see the actions of the Houthis and Hamas. They're not going to see the actions of the peaceful Palestinians. This shit hurts their cause. It makes Islamic people look bad. It makes it puts a stronger stigma on Arabs as a whole, and I think that's fucking awful, and I hate that shit because it's personal to me. I'm not going to get into why right now, but it's personal to me that I hate it. I hate that stigma that people have over Arabs and the Islamic culture, and it pisses me off to such a degree. And by supporting groups like this and not actually looking at the cause and the pain that these people have gone through as the highlight, and not like holding up these horrible groups, it's awful, dude. It's fucking awful, and I feel really bad for them. But I think by supporting groups like these other ones, all you're doing is hurting the Palestinian cause. There's no other way for me to see it, because all your normies are gonna see these atrocities and they're gonna be like, these fucking Hamas guys suck, which they do.
I don't think we should be siding with Hitler in general. You can say the genocide is bad, but you also can say,
again, dude, I think I have somebody in the chat that says free Palestine right now. I feel, like I said, I support the Palestinians. I want them to have a voice. I want them to stop dealing with bullshit, right? Like supporting Hamas and the Houthis is not the way. It's never been the way. Only dipshits like Hasan, who have really no stake in it other than they make a lot of fucking money from this, are the ones talking like that.
The other guy's also really bad that's on my side. I'm like, we literally have a saying for this. A broke clock is right twice a day. Brother, just because some people view your opinions as right doesn't mean everything you say is right. Like, it's not that hard of a concept here. We don't have to debate on the prevalence of people having the same and differing opinions at the same time. You can be like, yeah, I agree with this one thing, but I also don't agree with this other thing. That's just humans. That's just how we work. That's literally politics.
Exactly. This is so much facts, dude. This is so much facts.
You don't have to be like, well, I believe in this one thing. That means anything else that's on this side I have to believe in. You can be like, no, some of that is retarded. But the one thing that I do agree with, or the handful of things that I do agree with, is actually correct. We don't have to play this game where it's just like, well, I have to believe in everything because I believe in one thing. That is the dumbest way to make up any kind of political opinion. Because then you're going to be lumped in with people that you solely disagree with, but you have to defend because, well, there's like one thing we all agree with, so, you know, I have to defend them saying that we should just absolutely nuke half the country. All right, half the country has to get tactical nuke because they said something I didn't like. Right? That is completely fucking illogical. You don't have to agree with everything. And him trying to use his political opinions on Israel versus Gaza to hand wave all his other heinous actions and, you know, words that he has said and actions that he has done to lie and manipulate. It's just disgusting. All right, it is a manipulation tactic that even his friend iDubbbz loves to do. Boys, click this video right here to see how did iDubbbz try to manipulate his.
This is a good video. Again, I think I've liked Straight in the past. I think he does a pretty decent job. Dude, if they don't fight back, what will happen to the Palestinian people? There is a way to fight back that doesn't involve raping innocent women and killing innocent children. That's just like, I'm sorry, like, you're fucking like, all that does is muddy the waters, and I hate that shit. But here's like my end thought on all of this, and this is the biggest problem with a lot of the rhetoric going on online, is there's either everything's put into these black and white boxes, and it's gotten extremely radicalized. And I am a person that I've constantly said I don't like radicalization, I don't like extremists, and Hasan is an extremist. And I also think that all of these people spend half their time in drama, talk about all this other shit, try to conflate anytime anybody is critical of them as being against this cause, basically turning them into drama tubers as well, while at the same time utilizing the death of other people as a meat shield away from criticism, which is disgusting. I don't like Hasan. I'm never probably gonna like Hasan. I think he's a skeevy fucking liar, and I think that this whole fucking I got detained thing is a perfect example of that. And that's all I got on that one, guys. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.